play action. Good time for Smith throw and reaching for it is Smith.
Another heartbreaking loss in Seattle as the Vikings remain winless on the road versus the Seahawks, dropping to 0-7 in their last 7 meetings at CenturyLink Field. Despite the typical Russell Wilson late-game heroics that had Vikings fans hypnotically mumbling to themselves, pretty sure I've seen this movie before, and we all know what happens at the end. If that was you on your couch last Sunday night, then congratulations. You were one of many who sniffed out and predicted the Vikings' 1-point loss, watching the Seahawks score the go-ahead score on dramatic 4th and goal, all despite controlling the time and tempo of the game script up what felt like at the time a commanding 13-0 lead walking into the halftime tunnel. Still, with the Vikings dropping to 1-4 and poised to draft inside the top 10 for the first time since Mike Zimmer's rookie year, if you look in the right places, you'll find some positives. Despite having just one lone victory in the win column, this team has seen major improvements in multiple position groups and statistical categories, getting better and better nearly every week of the season. In fact, when you take a step back and away from all the turmoil and state of panic that comes with the territory of being 1-4, it's easy to forget the Vikings' 4 losses have come at the hands of teams with a combined record of a ridiculous 14-1, with the Seahawks, Titans, and Packers all still undefeated. It wasn't all bad news Sunday for the Vikings and Gary Kubiak's offense that finally found ways to get second-year tight end Irv Smith involved early and often, who was a clear focal point of the offensive script versus Seattle's suspect pass defense. Smith was Kirk Cousins' very first target of the game on a quick 5-yard slant, showcasing his versatility, standing up out wide near the boundary, and putting on display his versatility resembling a big-bodied wide receiver. The very next play, Kubiak dialed up number 84 without hesitation, demanding he do his part in helping Smith find his own heartbeat in the Vikings offense, even if he had to force it in the early goings. The result was beautiful. Smith laid out a Superman dive, hauling in a 23-yard pass by Cousins, with the rain pouring down under the primetime lights for the second play of the game. More importantly, gave Smith some much-needed confidence after getting off to such a sluggish start to the 2020 season. As a top 50 pick, Smith built himself a nice little start to his career and a good jumping-off point to his sophomore campaign. Despite being the clear-cut number 2 tight end behind veteran and team captain Kyle Rudolph, Smith cashed in 36 catches, 47 targets for 311 yards, and even found the end zone twice, despite averaging just over 60% of the offensive snaps. More importantly, Smith did a nice job getting his feet wet in the blocking game, a critical part of Kubiak's zone-heavy offense that utilizes constant 2 and even 3 tight end looks and formations, with a high demand on their tight ends being able to both catch and block. With the luxury of having football genes built in thanks to his dad, Irv Smith Sr., a former first-round tight end himself, along with learning the on-field nuances and adjustments from one of the league's best in Rudolph, Smith picked up the playbook quickly and flashed and splashed some exciting athleticism for the position, carving out high hopes for the future. Prior to their Week 5 matchup with Seattle, however, through the first 4 games, Smith was virtually non-existent. After catching his one and only target in garbage time, Week 1 versus the Packers, Smith hit a major snag versus the Colts in what may go down as his worst game of his young career. Although it wasn't a lack of physical effort or opportunities, however, Irv's final stat sheet read a sad and lonely 1 catch for just 3 yards with 4 passes thrown his way. What landed Smith in the coach's doghouse, though, was not 1, but 2 critical penalties that set his team in a major hole they could never dig out of. A 15-yard crackback block setting up 1st and 20, a penalty Mike Zimmer called a drive killer before it even started, and an offensive pass interference call on Smith, negating his own catch and run of 19 yards at a critical juncture of the game. After the then 0-2 start, Coach Zimmer started to make his players pay the ultimate price, costing them playing time for costly mental errors, as Smith saw firsthand the following versus Tennessee, failing to see one ball thrown his way while on the field for just 36 plays. 7 days later in Houston, made it 4 games in a row, Smith had not had more than 2 receptions or 11 yards pass catching in any game played now through the first quarter of the season. Until Sunday, when Smith busted out in a big way, catching 4 of his 5 targets for 64 yards. But far beyond just the box score stats was the timing and impact Smith had for his offense, helping move the chains and convert first downs on 3 of those passes. Maybe none bigger than his third quarter grab with 7:08 to play and his team desperate for any sign of life after watching the Seahawks come back and score 21 unanswered points, dissolving the Vikings' 13-point halftime lead within minutes. Smith took a deep crossing pattern from one side of the field to the opposite hash and not only hauled in a 20-yard pass completion, but absorbed a blow to the head by Trey Flowers to tack on another 15 yards. In total, Smith pushed his offense up the field further than they had all second half up to that point in just one play, and put on display his big playmaking ability that many, including myself, clamored about when taken with the Vikings' second-round pick. In an absolute dire situation where the offense had to get something going if they wanted a chance to fight and claw their way back into that game, Smith came through with a big-time play and a big-time moment, and hopefully can carry this newfound momentum with him throughout the rest of the season, as the Vikings look to carve out a role for him as the third weapon in the passing game and continue to find soft spots against the opposing defenses trying to contain Adam Thielen, Justin Jefferson, and Dalvin Cook, who have quietly thrusted the Vikings offense into the 6th best unit in the entire NFL. Smith will have plenty of big opportunities for more splash and flash plays this Sunday versus the Falcons, who own the league's worst pass defense to opposing tight ends and are in the midst of a head coaching change with Dan Quinn being fired earlier this week. Stay tuned. Plenty more Vikings content up on the Zone Coverage Network. For now, I'm Luke Inman, signing out.